Hi everybody, I have a male spirit with me and he is called Baz. Or as, yeah, okay, no problem. He's telling me everybody knew me as the Baz Man. Okay, yes, he was in life. All right, I'll say that as well. He's just a good bloke. Um, yeah. Um, he was a HGV driver, recovery man, and a mechanic. He, um, yes, okay. He liked being mucky, is his words. He liked being covered in grease and oil, and he liked the smell of oil, and he liked being dirty. Really, he used to spend most of his time underneath a tractor unit. Thank you. Um, he used to get shouted at by Linda, his wife, for being late. All right, okay, yes. He says that it was working late, and yeah, I bet you did. And he got into trouble because she brought him his tea down, and um, she was really annoyed with him. And she turned round and said, "Well, you might as well have your tea down, or you spend all your time in this garage." And I don't know if something wasn't going right. Okay, he's saying I couldn't tighten my nuts. Um, and he looked at the food, and he said to Linda, "You've forgotten the gravy." He's saying I had to change my boiler suit because I ended up wearing it, and he's he's a braver man than me, I've got to admit. But anyway, he spent most of his time in the garage. And he's telling me about a time. Right, okay. He's telling me he was tightening up some bolts, and his torque wrench didn't work properly, and he felt that it weren't tight enough. So he got a spanner and he got a bar and started jumping on this bar, or putting on this bar to make this bolt tighter. And it came off and hit his shin. And he says, it come like an egg. And it hurt and everything. And he thought no more about it. It went black and blue, bruising, all that. He says he didn't break it, but he says it really painful. And okay, yeah, all right. And he said he had this for months and months and months. And eventually, he says, I never went to doctors, but he says I had to. And he went to the doctors, and they did tests, and he says they prodded and poked me. He says, and I had to have these tests. He says, and he realised he'd got cancer in the bone. He says, I don't know how that happened because I didn't have it before. He says, I didn't smoke. He says, I did drink, but he says, I didn't smoke. He says, so he doesn't realise or understand how it happened. He just feels that it was the trauma of the being hit on the shin at force. And yeah. Oh, right, he says everybody ribbed him. These are his words. Everybody ribbed him for man flu and man's ailments and things, but he says it wasn't. until I showed them. He says, oh dear. But he says, what happened was, they found he'd got cancer and it spread. And by the time, he says, I didn't get any treatment. He says, it was too late for me. Right, okay. Right, okay. He's telling me that he hasn't been past that long. He hasn't been past that long at all. He's telling me it's within 12 months. But he says, I don't want to dwell on that, really. But he says, what I want to say is that I'm around Linda all the time. He says, I'm trying to... he says, I keep going down to the garage. He says, and to see, make sure that they're doing everything all right. But he says, I'm with Linda most of the time. He says, I'm sorry for the time that we didn't have. But I loved you in my way. He says, and I'll always love you. And he just wanted to say. And on that note, he's pulling away. And he's saying oily hugs and kisses. And he's pulled away. And on that note, I'd just like to say thank you to everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.